What's going on, guys? It's Sunday, August the 14th. It's about 10:45 in the morning. Gonna get ready to roll out of here to go pick up a load in a little bit. But first off, I gotta apologize. I know it's been a while since I did the last video, but things have been crazy. I'm still trying to learn the system and everything over here. So, just kind of bear with me on that. I'm gonna try to do more regular videos, man. And at the same time, just want to put a disclaimer on this video. This video might get lengthy, but I encourage everybody to watch it through to the end. Hopefully anybody who's thinking about coming over here to Schneider and doing the IC Choice program, hopefully you'll find this information useful. Maybe it'll help you make a better decision as to whether or not you want to come here. So this is my 6-week update, give or take, as a Schneider independent contractor. And I'm just going to give you the good and the bad and the ugly as I see it, man. And really, there's not a whole lot of bad or ugly, So I'm just going to get right into this stuff. And, well, I'll get to that at the end of the video. But really, the best thing about this, and you hear guys talking about it on other channels and everything else, guys that are over here doing it, is the freedom. And that is the single greatest advantage to this program. As a company driver, you're so used to being told, go here, be there at this time, go here, do this, do that. Over here, it's all up to you. It's the freedom. You choose your loads, you choose your running area, you choose how long you're out, you choose when you go home, you choose how long you're at home for. Now, obviously, you got to be smart about that because you got bills to pay, a truck to pay for, fuel, insurance, plates, all that stuff. But, as a company guy, when I left the house, I wasn't seeing the house again until I got home, or was supposed to go home. Here, this week alone, I've passed through the house 3 times, and that's all set up by me. Now, I couldn't afford to go home and stay home for, 2 days each time or whatever, but the thing is, I can pass through the house. My kids are better off for it because they see me more because they're little. They need me around. So, and that was one of the biggest reasons I finally decided to do this, was to be able to get home more often. And it's really good, man. It's really good. I love the fact that I'm in control of everything. I love that. I don't know if I could go back to being a company driver and having somebody tell me where to go and all that stuff. At least not without being a local guy where I knew I was going to go home every day. I honestly, right now, if I had to be, put in that position, I would have to go local. I don't think right now I could go back to being a company guy where I was told I had to be out 3 weeks and I'm going to places I don't want to go, and I just don't think I could do it. So the freedom is the single most greatest thing about this program. And it's as easy as everybody says it is, man. You get on the load board, you find a load you like, you click it if it's available, it gets assigned to you, and that's it. There's no brokers, no agents, no dispatchers, no nothing. You don't deal with a soul. So it's really, really streamlined. It's really easy. And like I said, it's just the freedom, man. That's the greatest thing about it. And I'm also finding that as far as parking, a lot of the Schneider customers will let you park there to take your 10-hour break. Whereas before it was, go get unloaded, get the hell out. We don't care. A lot of these places, the customers themselves will let you take a 10-hour break there. And even at that, if you can't, Schneider's got so many terminals and drop lots and secure park locations that you're usually close to something, so you can always have options to park. So, and the other nice thing is if you're planning your load, you can actually plan it out to where you'll get done early enough to where you can get into a truck stop or rest area or something. So, but yeah, even that situation is a lot better. And one of the big things is the maintenance here at Schneider. Now, as with any company, but especially a company as big as Schneider, your maintenance is only going to work as well as the drivers reporting the defects. But Schneider gives you so many avenues to do that. You can send a message on the Qualcomm. You can call in. If you have a breakdown, depending on what it is, there's places that are already pre-approved for repair, so you just have to roll in there, tell them what you need, and they'll fix it. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking specifically about trailers here because the truck is my responsibility. So I'm talking specifically about trailers here. But, the thing is like, let's say you go to pick up a trailer and you find a damaged trailer, you just report that. They'll send somebody out to fix it. If it's undrivable or whatever, I mean, they'll send a guy in there to recover it and take it to a terminal or whatever it is. But you know, they're really, really good about the maintenance on the equipment. You know, they really try to keep a good handle on that. But again, it's only as good as the drivers reporting the problems. So if you see a problem, even if it's with a trailer that you're not going to pull, say something. In fact, I have another video I'm going to do about that in a little bit here. And which kind of brings me into another point, is the support you get from the company. You know, Schneider's thing there is, they basically, as far as the IC choice side, they've got 3 things they want you to abide by. Run safe, run legal, pick up and deliver on time. As long as you're doing those things, you'll never hear from a soul. They won't call you, they won't send you messages, they won't bother you. You know, obviously, if you have a problem, you can call in, or if you have a question about something or whatever, and everybody's friendly. You know, I've never talked to anybody who was nasty and didn't want to help you or something like that. So they're very, very supportive as far as the drivers go. And again, everything kind of rolls together as far as the support and the maintenance. Safety is a big thing over here, man. Their core value is safety first and always. And they also say that, you know, they have a saying, nothing that we do is worth hurting ourselves or somebody else. And it's not just a line of crap. They tell you that, and it's genuine, and they really believe it. And they will never ask you to do anything unsafe. They will never ask you to do anything illegal. You know, if you run into a weather-related problem, you don't feel safe, doesn't matter, rain, snow, sleet, whatever. You pick up the phone, you say, hey man, I'm stuck in this monsoon. I can't see 2 feet in front of the truck. I'm going to be an hour late for my delivery. Okay, that's all you got to do. You just got communication here is the key. As long as you communicate what's going on with them, you know, if there's a problem or whatever, you just communicate it to them and they work with you. You know, nobody ever will force you to do something that's not safe. And to me, coming from a company that would basically illegally dispatch you all the time, and you would tell them, hey, you can't do this load legally, their answer to that was, well, let's see what happens. Or other guys do it. You know, it's just, there's none of that here. And it's so refreshing to me from that standpoint, to where I know I'm not going to be forced to do something that's unsafe or illegal. Period. You know, I got that Qualcomm sitting there. When that thing says my time is up, my time's up. That's it. If I didn't make a load for a reason that was out of my control, but I'm out of time, oh well, you know, they'll deal with it. But you just have to you have to communicate those things with them, obviously, if you know there's going to be a problem. But yeah, man, safety is key here, and that's freaking awesome. That really is. Really, like I said, I don't have a lot of bad to say. The only negative things that I would point out would be, when you're looking at loads on the load board, you know, they tell you city and state of where they're picking up and delivering. They give you everything really that you need to know. They give you the total revenue, loaded cost per mile with the deadhead. They give you the weight, but they don't tell you the customer names, which is kind of sucks. But you know, because if you're like me and you don't really like doing retail stuff, you don't know if it's going to a store or a DC, a warehouse, whatever. But you can always call in and ask them, and they'll tell you. So, you know, there kind of is a way around that. But I wish that the load board had that information up front. And really, guys, the only other bad point that I could say is, and it's not even really bad, it's just kind of a part of the deal, is the learning curve. You know, when you start this, you're not going to walk into this and start making $5,000 a week every week. It's just not going to happen. You've got to go through the motions of learning the load board, learning the freight lanes, learning the customers, and you know, you got to have to find that balance of, you know, making the money that you need to make. You're kind of, and running the areas that you want to run. You know, it's a feeling out process, and it can get frustrating. And I'll be honest with you, there was a couple times where I just was like, what the hell am I doing? I just wanted to throw in the towel, throw in the keys, and be like, forget this. You know, I don't want to do this. But, you know, obviously I didn't do that. But I mean, it can get overwhelming. It really can. So you have to be patient. You have to be patient, which is kind of going to roll me into something else that I want to talk about. I just want to give you guys a few pointers, I guess, if you want to call it that, or things to keep in mind before you get into this that you kind of need to be aware of, because it's kind of going to help you with the process of doing this. The first thing is you cannot come into this with the company driver mentality, meaning every single thing that goes wrong, you're going to want to blame Schneider. When in actuality, Schneider's not at fault. It's the shippers and receivers. If you get delayed or something like that, even if you're a company guy, it's the shippers and receivers. It's not your company. But you want to get pissed off at the company for sending you in there and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's on you because you picked that load. Schneider didn't send you there. You chose to pick that load. So, you can't go into it with that company driver mentality. If you have a problem with a trailer, it's not Schneider's fault. It's because if that trailer was busted, the guy that dropped it there left it screwed up and didn't say nothing, so they don't know about it. Again, you can't go into it blaming the company and, they don't take care of the equipment and blah, blah, blah. That goes back to that whole, the maintenance is only as good as the driver's reporting the defects thing. So, but like I said, I know it's easy to want to blame the company. Now, where I came from, I blame them for a lot of shit because as far as dispatch goes, yeah, they were setting you up with illegal runs, and yeah, that was the company's fault, plain and simple. But like I said, you can't go into this thinking if something goes wrong, it's Schneider's fault. They're not there to try to screw you out of money. They work with you, whatever the situation is. So you just have to, get out of that company driver mentality. Nobody's going to hand you anything. Everything that happens to you over here is by your own hand. So again, they're not going to baby you. They're not going to hold your hand. They'll assist you with things, if you have issues with certain things. They're there to help you, but they're not going to kiss your ass. That's just not how it works here. So, just keep that in mind. You have to be prepared. You're a business owner when you come over here. You're not a company driver. So you have to be prepared to deal with the taxes. You got IFTA tax, you've got the 2290 tax, plus you're a 1099 independent contractor, so you've got to take taxes out of your own pay and be ready for that. So you have to be aware of all that stuff. You're paying for fuel now. So you can't just think, I'm going to go, fill up here. And no, you have to account for all that stuff when you're booking your loads. You are your tax guy. You're your financial guy, which kind of brings me to something else. You are the trip planner. You're the load planner. You're the dispatcher. So if you're not really good at load trip planning, you may want to brush up on that and start kind of looking into that and working with that a little bit before you come over here, because you've got to have that ability to be able to book yourself out a few days. Because if you don't, if you try to take it one day at a time, it's more of a hassle, because you may eyeball a load and you may want to see, I'm going to see what happens this next day, and that load could be gone. So if a load's there, you want to be able to snag it, and you want to be able to plan yourself out a couple of days ahead. This way, you're always looking ahead and you're not trying to play catch up, and pretty much where you're going to be by a certain point of the week. You have to keep track of your hours of service and all that stuff rolls in together. So, if that's not one of your strong points, being able to plan, you may want to work on that before you decide to come over here, because that is a big, big key with this. You have to be able to plan your loads. So, and one of the other things that I can't stress enough is, in fact, my buddy Colin Coker mentioned this a long time ago. This is something that I've learned and I took his advice on. When you come over here, if you're brand new to being an owner-operator, I strongly, strongly recommend that you have money in savings to back you up. Because as I mentioned, one of the ugly points is that learning curve. Man, if you have a bad week, you're going to need that money to bail you out. You may need to catch up, and you may need that money to help you make a truck payment, or pay your bills, or pay for fuel, or pay for food out here, or whatever the case may be. Until you really get into that groove, you're going to need money to back you up. So if you come into this with nothing and you get behind and it's constantly rolling over. Now you're in a situation where week after week after week you're trying to play catch up, and eventually Schneider's going to come to you and say, "Hey, what's going on here? You know, you're in the hole every week. What's the deal?" And you just don't want to go down that road, because it's once you get into that, it's going to be very hard to get out. So I don't want to see that happen to anybody, including me. So that's pretty much all I got, man. I mean, I know that I tried to get through that as quick as I could, but like I said, to this point, I've had my frustrations. There's times I wanted to run screaming, but overall, I'm happy with the decision, and I'm still learning every day, man. I really am, and every day it gets a little bit easier, and you learn something new every day. So, just keep that in mind. But if you do have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. I was able to fix my email account. I was able to get rid of all the spam and all that, so it should be pretty much back to normal. So if you want to send me an email, feel free to do so. helpwithtrucking@hotmail.com is the email address. You can reach me there. And just all I ask is you be patient, because it's still a learning curve for me with this. And I don't really get a lot of free time. This was a rarity. That's why it's been so long since I've done a video. So, but again, if you have any questions, I will answer them to the best of my ability. I don't know everything, guys, because I've only been doing this about 6-7 weeks. So I'll be glad to tell you what I know, offer you my opinions on things to this point. And, I can always put you in touch with somebody who, if I don't know the answer, to somebody who does. So, just keep that in mind as well. So, again, that's all I got for you here. There'll be some other videos coming up, I promise you. I just have to get into the swing of things where I can kind of get myself freed up a little bit, and we'll get back into it. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. Hopefully you stuck through the end of this. Hopefully you learned something. Again, leave a comment, send me an email, helpwithtrucking@hotmail.com. I guess that's it till next time. So everybody be good, be smart, be safe. We'll see you down the road. Later on.